Graduating students, family, and friends, welcome to the University of Oregon School of Law 2020 commencement. We are here to recognize and to celebrate three groups of graduating students. First, those who have completed their studies leading to a Juris Doctorate, the JD Law degree. Second, those who are receiving 2 degrees, the JD and a master's degree in Business Administration, Community and Regional Planning, or Conflict and Dispute Resolution. And finally, those who have completed their studies leading to a Master of Laws, or LLM degree. These are truly great achievements, and I am here to say, congratulations. Getting into law school was both difficult and gratifying, and today you can attest to the fact that getting out has been much the same. Before I launch into more traditional remarks, I want to acknowledge the somewhat unique situation in which we find ourselves today. You lost out on how you thought your final semester of law school would end. Conversations in the Commons, getting your last cup of coffee or slice of pizza at the Law Duck store were missed. Celebrating in person and saying goodbye to all your classmates, faculty and staff, and loved ones has not been possible for you. And this simply is not fair. The full range of disappointment and other emotions cannot be captured. Many of us have gone through and are going through the 5 well-known stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And we have not moved through these stages in a linear fashion. One day we're in acceptance, then we're bargaining, back to depression, and then in acceptance. I want to acknowledge that fact and to try to assure you that whatever you're feeling today is okay. And I also want to acknowledge that in the midst of it all, there is still great joy. I hope that despite all that is going on, you will seek and you will find many reasons to celebrate and to be grateful. For example, for the friends and family, professors and staff who helped you along the way to arrive at this point of achievement. I believe it's a time to celebrate and to be grateful. Your time here has no doubt included many challenges, and you have been uniquely tested and come out on the other side. You have met these challenges with the resolve and the positive attitude for which this Oregon law community is known. I am so very proud of each and every one of you. This is truly a time to celebrate and to be grateful. Graduates of this great law school have launched their careers in good and bad economic times, in times of war and international turmoil, in public health crises, in times of technological revolution, and in times of great promise. Our graduates have succeeded, no matter how you measure success. We are celebrating today because we need more lawyers and more people with legal training. Our world is increasingly dynamic and complex, and you are prepared to seize the day and greet opportunities to help your clients and change the lives of so very many. From here, you now have the skills and the knowledge to drive change and chart your own path to success, however you define it. That is truly something to celebrate and for which to be grateful. Commencements are often filled with mixed emotions, and this year is no different. I'm sad to see you go. Most of you and I started our journey together here at Oregon Law, so you will always hold a special place in my heart. I'm also excited to see you go out and help us meet the novel and urgent challenges of today and tomorrow. We are grateful that you chose Oregon Law, and today we are especially Law Duck proud. One of the keys to our success lies in our ability to contend with and respond to challenges in productive ways. All of us will endure experiences we would rather not. This fact is most certainly true for law students. Law school is by its very nature a demanding experience that can test the mettle of even the most academically gifted and committed students. Now add to that a global pandemic, and you've spiked the level of difficulty off the charts. In recognition of that fact, this year we introduced a brand new award at Oregon Law, the Resilience in Action Award. This award acknowledges both the challenges and opportunities found in adversity, acknowledging resilience as a critical component of our personal and professional success. The award recognizes those who reflect a grounded spirit, an adaptive and compassionate approach, and a persistence to make meaning and emerge whole when things don't go as planned. In this inaugural year, we present the Resilience in Action Award to all of you, the class of 2020. A plaque will hang at the law school, and in this first year, it will recognize the entire class of 2020 for your collective ability to contend with and respond to unprecedented adversity that you faced as graduating law students. You didn't think I'd make it through this whole speech without saying unprecedented, did you? Now, to be sure, for all that you have endured and conquered, our future looks brighter with you at the helm. Congratulations, class of 2020. Now, to turn to celebrating some of our other stars in the Oregon law community. I am proud to present the Orlando John Hollis Outstanding Faculty Teaching Award. This award was established by a gift from Wallace and Ellen Kapke in honor of former Dean Hollis. It is awarded annually to the law school's most outstanding teacher for excellence in classroom instruction. This year's Orlando John Hollis Outstanding Faculty Teaching Award goes to Professor Rebecca Hanley. A student who nominated Professor Hanley said, "Throughout the year, Professor Hanley has ensured the success of her students both in and out of the classroom. Her devotion to our well-being was only amplified when we made the transition to remote learning, and through her constant communication and transparency with us, she helped us navigate these uncertain times. Professor Hanley goes above and beyond to help her students however she can." Congratulations, Professor Hanley. I am now honored to announce the winner of the law school's Meritorious Service Award. It is given each year at commencement to a person who has made extraordinary contributions to legal education or to the legal profession. This year, the Meritorious Service Award goes to the Honorable Ann Aiken of the U.S. District Court for the District of Oregon. Many of you know Judge Aiken. She supports Oregon law every year in a myriad of ways, including guest lecturing, hiring students as externs, supporting the Derrick Bell Lecture, and leading the Art of the Possible event. You may not know that Judge Aiken was the first woman to hold the position of Chief Judge of the U.S. District Court of Oregon. She also is the founder of Eugene's groundbreaking Reentry Court. Judge Aiken is one of the best advocates of justice you could ever encounter. Congratulations, Judge Aiken. Thank you for your service. Now, I'd like to introduce Camille Creer, the 2019-2020 Student Bar Association President. Camille is a California native and was an active and compelling advocate for her peers during her time at Oregon Law. Camille's future is bright, and I look forward to watching her use the experience she gained at Oregon Law to drive positive change in the world.
Thank you, Dean Burke. My name is Camille Creer, and I've had the privilege of serving as the president of the Student Bar Association over this past year. I've actually had the privilege of serving our class over the last 3 years through SBA, which is how I know just how tenacious and resilient our class is. We're in some profoundly difficult times right now, and we might all be a little bit down at the moment, but that's okay. I know this class. We won't stay down. This isn't even the first obstacle that we face together. We've seen everything from raging wildfires and smoke-filled skies to snowstorms and power outages. We stood together in the face of intolerant faculty members. We grieved the unexpected loss of a beloved professor, and we went through a roller coaster of emotions when it came to all things related to graduation. We advocated for what we believed was right, and we stepped up when we needed to. We will come out of these hard times with the same grace and perseverance as we always have. Our path through law school might have had some speed bumps along the way, and there were definitely some times when we thought we weren't going to make it. But we did. We did because we stuck together. We did it by celebrating the strengths and accomplishments of each other. Whether it was celebrating your roommate for their LRW score, buying your friend some flowers for landing that dream job, or simply saying, "I see you and I appreciate you." We did it by forming friendships that will last a lifetime. Friends that would take study breaks with you by running through the library in the middle of the night. Friends that willingly got on a raft with you during the raft trip. Friends that stood by you as you got married. And friends that provided solace when you needed it. We did it by encouraging each other when things got difficult. We reminded each other of why we were here. We reminded each other of the progress we had made. We reminded each other of our capabilities. I say all of this to remind you of two things. First, I say this to remind you of how far we've come. Despite the doubts that you might have had along the way of whether you were good enough or whether it was worth it, despite the tears of frustration that you might have cried, despite the personal battles that you might have been fighting that no one else knew about, you are here today. You are a doctor of jurisprudence. Second, I say all of this to remind you of who we are as a class. We are determined and we are strong-willed. We are thoughtful and we are considerate. We are a force to be reckoned with. I hope that we can remember these qualities as we continue through these confusing and often troubling times. I hope that we can remember all this as we get ready to enter the legal profession and wield a power that many rarely get the privilege to access. I hope that no matter where we end up down the road, we remember who we are and where we came from. I'm so proud of this class. We've been through a lot to get to this day. We struggled together, we laughed together, we learned together, and we celebrated together. No matter what is happening in the world right now, nothing diminishes what we have accomplished here today. This is an incredible group of students, and I can't thank you all enough for trusting me over these last 3 years. It has been an honor and a privilege to represent this class. Congratulations, class of 2020. We did it. It is now my pleasure to introduce our elected class speaker, Mr. John Rose. I've had the pleasure of knowing John as both a colleague and a friend. He is thoughtful in his actions, he is kind-hearted, and he's always able to make you laugh. Our class speaker, Mr. John Rose.
Thank you, President. As mentioned, my name is John Rose, and I'm this year's elected class speaker. Welcome classmates, faculty, administration, family, friends, and those just tuning in because you finally ran out of shows to watch. I would like to offer my heartfelt congratulations and gratitude to my classmates. I would say we survived, but we did more than that. We earned this moment through determination, perseverance, and sheer will. And my deepest thank you for the privilege and honor of delivering our commencement speech today. Now, the best advice I have ever received when preparing a speech is to be concise and to speak from the heart. For those that know me well, I can only sort of do one of those things. The past few months of self-isolation have given us time to reflect upon our journey through law school. My thoughts lead back to one topic, one word really. This word, this idea, this concept in our lives has been discussed ad nauseum, written about countless times. It was even one of the most successful campaign slogans in modern U.S. history. Change. And just to be clear, I'm not announcing my candidacy for anything. When I think of change, 3 points come to mind. Change in us as law students, change in our country, and the change yet to come. I will touch on all three as they are equally important, just like each branch of government. It's a change we must experience, and 3 years of law school provide ample room for experiences. Good ones, sad ones, frustrating ones, and more than a few embarrassing ones, at least for me. And through all of this, we have forged friendships, sharpened skills, both personal and professional, discovered passions, and at the behest of the Career Center, established connections. We came to law school with an entirely different set of experiences and accomplishments, a set that shaped our understanding of who we were, what we were capable of, and where our place was in the world. From the very first day, we began to change in many ways we were not prepared for. Minds filled with doubt and fear and frustration. For me, I questioned whether I belonged. And at first, I struggled with such change, as I'm sure many others did too. Over time, though, these changes in ourselves and the way we think did not seem so foreign, and eventually we accepted it, the new us, someone who could answer a cold call or write an IRAC. But it has been so much more than just an accumulation of practical skills. We were reforming the core principles of who we are and what we value. We outgrew our old understanding of who we were, becoming new versions of ourselves, seeing the world through a new lens, prepared for what lies ahead. And it's a good thing we are prepared too. As law students, we always have our head in the books, oblivious to all things not related to the law, or so we told our professors. And I hate to be the one to break to my classmates, but as we were changing, our society was too. However, this does not frighten me the way it once would have. We learned in our first year that this country and its rule of law were built upon a few enduring principles: a democratic and participatory federal government composed of co-equal branches, certain unalienable rights protected by the Constitution, and strong state governments, a steadfast, perennial system built for change. We can look to moments in history where this system has been stressed, moments that challenged it to its core. I look at moments like westward expansion, the Civil War, the Great Depression, World War II, and the Civil Rights Movement. With the COVID-19 pandemic, I believe that we are at the beginning of another such transformational moment. Each of these moments caused a great deal of pain and suffering, but they also brought forth positive change in our society and law. But it was not enough to just pass a law or win a judgment to actualize such change. In each major moment, it was the young generation of attorneys, doctors, engineers, scientists dedicating their entire careers to implementing, protecting, and expanding such change in our society. They, like us, were driven, again, by determination, perseverance, and sheer will. It is clear to me that our country is rapidly going through yet another monumental shift. Our way of life is changing, and none of us are quite sure what the end result will look like. But our system is built for such a change. And just as generations before us, we are presented with an enormous challenge, as well as a unique opportunity. In the world of COVID-19, it'll be up to our generation to chart a path forward, to use the legal system to ensure our country's response to this crisis and any others like it in the future will protect the most vulnerable, provide assistance to those in need, and permit Americans to pursue their dreams. And we will succeed, thanks in good part to our 3 years together here at the University of Oregon. While our country may not be what it was when we entered law school, we are also not who we were. And wherever you go, and whatever you may do, I know that each of you are prepared, capable, willing to meet any challenge head on, and to learn, grow, and build upon what we learned here. Through those experiences, you'll become even better versions of yourselves and create a better version of this country. And I cannot wait to meet those versions. Congratulations, class of 2020. We did it. It is now my pleasure to introduce this year's guest speaker, Ms. Nagai. Ms. Nagai is a graduate of Lewis and Clark Law School. After graduating law school, Ms. Nagai worked at Multnomah County Legal Aid and in private practice. as an assistant dean at the University of Oregon School of Law and with the Urban Indian Council. She currently works as a consultant in the fields of organizational change, leadership and team coaching, cultural competence, and workforce diversity. Ms. Nagai was the lead attorney in Yasui v. United States. Mr. Yasui was a Japanese American who was held in an American internment camp during the Second World War. Years after he lost his legal fight to overturn his conviction for violating the curfew imposed on Japanese Americans during World War II, Ms. Nagai reopened Mr. Yasui's Supreme Court case and prevailed. She co-founded the Minora Yasui Tribute Committee and spearheaded the effort for a posthumous Presidential Medal of Freedom for Mr. Yasui, which was awarded by President Obama in 2015. Mr. Yasui is a double duck, having earned both his undergraduate degree and law degree from the University of Oregon. He is also the first Japanese American member of the Oregon State Bar.
Good afternoon, Dean Burke, faculty, staff, Provost Phillips, friends, family, and most importantly, graduates. I'm delighted to be with you today to celebrate your achievements and your graduation. By the way, welcome to my home. And also know that you might hear the rustle of pages that are notes for my speech. A lot to say and not much time, so let me start by saying that early in my career, I realized that the fight for justice had less to do with hope and winning and more to do with the struggle itself, that in that struggle was life-affirming experiences. And besides, where's there hope when history keeps repeating itself? Where's full democracy and equitable systems that work for all the people? These are the questions I've asked myself through the decades, to myself and to other people. And then COVID-19, a worldwide pandemic, hits. And while we lost much, including your third year and graduation, it has forced us to pause and to think about where we as individuals, communities, nations, and the world have failed to provide care for all the people. The U.S. economy, politics, and healthcare disparities have denied help to those who need it the most, largely in communities of color. This pandemic has brought forward clearly, blatantly, and altogether these injustices. There's a whole generation of lawyers who are at the tail end of their career and fight for justice. And we're asking all of you and each of you to do better than what we did. Will you be the new lawyer leaders? Will you be the first responders for justice? For in whatever law you practice and wherever you practice, there will be issues of equity and inclusion that come up. And there will be moments, what I call defining moments, when you have to choose how you're going to act. And how you act and how you respond will define who you are at the core. Two people who I know are first responders and early responders for justice are Derrick Bell and Minora Yasui. They were two people who had an enormous impact on my career. I was born and raised in Boring, Oregon, on a farm. We were poor. I grew up without indoor plumbing and eating government surplus food in the winter. My parents, U.S. citizens, were incarcerated as Japanese Americans during World War II. Their experience fueled my pursuit for justice, a non-linear career that took many twists and turns. But that's a story for another time. Dean Bell not only wrote about racial injustices, he fought for racial equality. A case in point, Pat Chu, who applied to be on the faculty at Oregon in 1985. She graduated high in her class at the University of Texas Law School. She spoke fluent Chinese. She practiced international business law at Baker McKenzie. In addition, the largest minority students at the law school were Asian Americans, and there were no Asians on the faculty. Chu was number 3 out of more than 100 candidates, and the top 2 candidates had rejected our offer. Nonetheless, the faculty refused to hire her. So at the end of that meeting, Dean Bell said, "I will abide by your decision, but I cannot represent a law school that would do this. I resign." And he did so then and there. It was a devastating loss for me. He'd hired me as his assistant dean. He was my boss and mentor, and I was really upset. He left me a message one day and said, "I know you're sad. I also want you to know that I did this largely for you and others like you." Because Derrick had always said, we must do what's right, regardless of the personal costs. And that's what he did. And sometimes when I don't want to speak out, when I don't want to stand out, I can hear him urging me to act. As Professor Maggie Chan said, he turned her into a true lawyer who understands the link between law and justice and reason and compassion. I met Minora Yasui in 1979 when he keynoted an event in Portland. He had a loud voice and a booming oratorical style, and I was thrilled to see an Asian American leader like him. He also was a double duck, an ROTC officer and a patriot. So in 1942, when the military imposed a curfew, he decided to act. He was 25 years old. He was the first member of the Oregon State Bar, and he thought it was unconstitutional to have such a curfew towards citizens. And so what did he do? He got himself arrested at the Portland police station. He was tried, convicted, and found guilty at the District Court of Oregon for violating the curfew. And he appealed to the Supreme Court and spent 9 months in solitary confinement at the Multnomah County Jail as his case went up to the Supreme Court. Why did he do that? 3 years out of law school, he put his life, his liberty, and his career on the line. What he said later is, if we believe in America, if we believe in democracy, if we believe in justice and the rule of law, then each of us has an obligation when we see an error to correct that wrong. And that's what he was doing. You also will have those defining moments when you can correct those errors, as Min did, as Derrick did. In 1981, we found documents in the National Archives that said that Japanese Americans were incarcerated not based on military necessity, but based on racial discrimination. Min Yasui called me and said, "Can we talk about reopening my case?" I was thrilled. 4 years out of law school, I became his lead attorney, and we filed a petition for writ of error coram nobis in the District Court of Oregon. And looking at the documents, it showed that the government knew at the time that military necessity was not the basis for the incarceration. So when I thought back and realized that Solicitor General Fahey had knowingly lied to the U.S. Supreme Court, it was almost unfathomable. And when I heard Victor Stone, who was representing the government in our coram nobis cases, refused to acknowledge those facts and refused his duty to seek justice, I was disillusioned and disheartened. But when Edward Ennis, who was a lawyer and the author of the 1943 and 44 briefs, testified in one of our cases in open court that the government back then had lied to the U.S. Supreme Court, and there was no military necessity for the incarceration, I felt both vindicated and empowered, not just for myself, for the 120,000 Japanese Americans who were the targets of this injustice. Even after the convictions, our work continued. We filed amicus briefs for unwarranted surveilling and racial profiling of Muslims, Arabs, and South Asians. We filed briefs for the indefinite detention of those suspected to be hostile to the U.S. And as late as 2017 and 18, we filed amicus briefs in the travel ban cases, saying that banning people based on nationality and religion from majority Muslim countries is similar to what happened to Japanese Americans in World War II. Our work continues 40 years after those Coram Nobis cases. My question to you is, will you be a first responder for justice? Will you uphold conservative American values of due process and equal protection? Will you speak out against people who want to shut down a free press and want to perpetrate hate crimes and hate speech? These are questions that I have, some of which are yet to be answered, but some of which I know the answer, and so will you in the coming years in your defining moments. I applaud you, I salute you, I honor you. And in the words of Senator Ted Kennedy, the work goes on, the cause endures, the hope still lives, and the dream shall never die. May you be lawyer leaders. May you be the first responders for justice. And in so doing, you will be the keepers of the dream. Thank you. The next speaker is Patrick Phillips, Provost and Senior Vice President of the University of Oregon, who will confer degrees upon you graduates. Provost Phillips is an academic expert in ecology and evolution, the biology of aging, molecular biology, and the genetics of complex traits. He is a professor of biology and a member of the National Institute of Health Center for Excellence in Microbial Biology and Theory Animals for Systems Biology. Whew! He also served as the acting executive director of the Phil and Penny Knight Campus for Accelerating Scientific Impact at the University of Oregon from 2016 to 2018. Please welcome Provost Phillips.
Welcome and good afternoon. My name is Patrick Phillips. I'm the Provost and Senior Vice President at the University of Oregon. And it's my great honor to welcome you here today and to celebrate with you the great accomplishments of our JD, LLM, and concurrent degree students. And of course, this is a very important day because it marks a transition in the lives of our students as they move on to their next phase of their careers. But it's also important to recognize what an important moment it is for all the supporters, loved ones, family members, and others who are gathered here to celebrate their accomplishments as well. To all the graduates, on behalf of the University of Oregon, I join with all of your faculty to congratulate you on the great accomplishments and successes that you've had so far. And I really look forward to following your career paths and the future successes as we move on down the line. But now it's the best and most formal part of my contributions to today's ceremony, and that is to actually confer your degrees. So, by the virtue of authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the University of Oregon, and upon the recommendation of the Dean and faculty of the School of Law, I hereby confer upon you the degree for which you have qualified. Congratulations to you all.
Congratulations, everyone. It's been a lot of fun. I wish you all the best of luck.
Thanks to Mom and Dad for making this possible. Thanks to Manuel for always being awesome. Congratulations, class of 2020. We did it. I miss you guys already.
Congratulations, Oregon Class of 2020. I appreciate, miss, and wish you all the best going forward. Thank you, Mom and Dad. I love you the most.
Go! Ducks! Woohoo!
Law school has been really hard, but it's been so life-changing. Thank you to my parents, my family, my loved ones, and my professors that have been standing by me for these past 3 years. We did it.
Congratulations, everybody.
Thank you to my family for being my support system and my encouragers. I am truly grateful to you. Allie, I love you. Thank you for you and Eve getting me through law school.
Congrats to all my fellow classmates, and thank you to all of my family and friends for support. Go Ducks!
Congratulations, everyone. We made it. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Happy birthday, Mom. This is for you. Love you.
Thank you to my wife, Lacey Roundy, and to all my family and friends, classmates, professors, and law faculty. Most importantly, thank you to my dogs. Go Ducks.
Congratulations, 2020 class. Woo! You did it!
20, congratulations. My name is Sandy Weintraub, and I was the Student Bar Association president from the class of 2010, and now I have the privilege of serving as the director of the Oregon Law Commission, a law reform body for the state of Oregon that's based at the University of Oregon School of Law. The one thing that I get to do every day is work with attorneys to make our state better by improving statutes and policy which aren't working well for the people, whether the policies are unjust or cost too much or are getting in the way of what is best for the people. I get to work with attorneys who dedicate their life to making the world better, serving in that role as an attorney. And when they work with the Law Commission and our work groups, they actually do it for free. It gives me a wonderful perspective that attorneys really do good. And using your education from the University of Oregon School of Law is going to give you an opportunity in this state and in the world at large to make a real difference. Especially in this incredibly unpredictable and unusual time, having that education and being able to go out into the world with enthusiasm is going to be so important. And I know that all of you can do it. I'm so excited that all of you get to be a part of our alumni base, and I look forward to meeting many of you, whether it be in the building or other places soon. Congratulations. Now, please welcome Drew Betts and Eric Mall, third-year class representatives, who will announce the class gift.
Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Mall, and I was born and raised in West Branch, Michigan. Following completion of the Michigan bar exam, I will begin working at Cooper & Reister as an estate planning attorney.
Hi everyone, my name is Drew Betts. I was born and raised in Fresno, California, and I'm currently still seeking postgraduate employment here in Oregon. This past year, Eric and I had the pleasure to serve as your 3L class representatives.
Now, one of our obligations as your class representatives is to help select a gift on behalf of the graduating class of 2020. During these uncertain times, we chose to allocate our class funds to the Oregon Law Cares Fund to support students affected by unforeseen circumstances. While many of you submitted some stellar ideas for the class gift, we felt this was the most appropriate use of the funds given the current circumstances.
Students affected financially from the pandemic may apply for support from the Oregon Law Cares Fund. Requests may be made to support basic living expenses such as rent, bills, food, medicine, and so on.
Right now, our university is giving preference to students who had employment secured for the summer, but then lost it due to the pandemic. There's no set maximum amount of funds a student can receive, and the criteria is broad to help reach the most students possible.
With that, we want to thank you all. It has been both a privilege and an honor to be a part of the graduating class of 2020. We wish you nothing but the best, and Sko Ducks.
Sko Ducks.